looking at Roxy in the mirror. "Your husband." "In a place pretty much like this." Roxy dried her hands and did one of those meaningless things that women do to their hair in front of bathroom mirrors. The whore tried a smile, revealing pre-glasnost dentistry. "Maybe I too get lucky. If you can, so I can." "Sure," Roxy said. Thought, like fucking hell, Chernobyl mouth. But was she so different from this woman? True, she'd never hooked, but her years as a model had been filled with rich men who had paid for her time and affection in other ways. Just as Joe did now. She left those thoughts in the bathroom. Disco de Lily's curse was that he was just too drop-dead gorgeous. Everybody told him so, from when he was a kid right up to today. His beauty, as beauty can, had opened doors for him, but it had also caused him no end of fucking trouble. As he sat in the passenger seat of the stolen Nissan, his butt muscles unconsciously clenched at the memory of that first night in Paulsmoor prison, an ordeal that had left him torn and terrified until he'd found his protector. Then his 18-month stretch had entered a different dimension of hell. "Wanna catch up?" Godwynn McIntosh held out the small glass pipe, still bubbling from the heat of his lighter flame. Disco took a hit, held the meth in his lungs, then coughed out a billow of smoke. He needed it to settle his nerves, put the image of prison out of his mind, and help him focus on the job. Godwynn grabbed the pipe back, and as he inhaled the last of the meth, it made the tick-tick sound that gave the drug its local name. Where Disco was tall and slender, Godwynn was chunky and squat, and dark. Not something to be proud of on the color-conscious Cape Flats, where the birth of a dark child was no reason to break out the box wine and party. Buzzing now, Disco entertained himself with the thought that if he and Godwynn were coffees, he'd be a cappuccino and Gotti a double espresso. He laughed. "Yeah? What's so fucking funny?" Gotti asked. Disco shook his head, eyes fixed on the Benz parked 3 cars in front of the Nissan on the curve. Gotti had come to Disco's backyard hut 2 hours earlier. Told him Manson, head of the Paradise Park Americans gang, Gotti's boss, had said he better not fucking come back if he wasn't driving a Mercedes-Benz 500 SLC, this year's model. So they had headed over to Camps Bay with its sidewalk bars and rip-off restaurants. The fancy cars were drawn to the beachfront strip like ticks to a stray dog's asshole. Gotti was sitting up straighter. "Check this out." Disco watched the couple approaching the Benz. The man, big, flabby, and white, was dressed in black pants and a light shirt, no tie, suit coat draped over his left arm. The woman was blonde, and there was something in her walk like those skinny girls on the fashion channel. Except she wasn't skinny. She was built good. "Think he's pecking?" Gotti asked. Disco saw the man's fat squeezed into his tight shirt like a sausage. No place for a gun. He shook his head. Gotti ducked under the dash, fiddling with the wires hanging loose from the steering column, trying to get the Nissan started. Disco watched as the big man tossed a coin to the car guard. The Benz's alarm chirped, and the turn signals flashed yellow for a second. The man held the passenger door open for the blonde, who slid in with a nice show of leg in the streetlight. He chucked his coat onto the rear seat of the Benz. The coat had covered the small silver case he carried in his left hand. The whitey popped the trunk and threw the case inside, shut the lid, got into the car, and fired up the V8. "The sardines is opening the can," Disco said, as the Benz's roof slid back, revealing the 2 heads, one blonde, one dark. The Nissan coughed into life, and Gotti came back up from under the dash. "Can't they make it no easier?" The Benz slid out into Victoria Road. Gotti allowed another car to pass, and then he followed. Disco felt the tick in his veins and the Colt tucked snug against his washboard belly. Time to go to work. "You could have made a bit more of a fucking effort, Roxanne," Joe said. The flat accent still grated on her ear after 5 years in Cape Town. Roxy said nothing. "Christ, I wish you'd get over it. I mean, for fuck's sake, how much bloody..."